Hi everybody, welcome to Live Blogger. In this tutorial series, we are creating this website over here using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. And in the previous video, we designed this hero section over here, and this is how it looks. Now in this video, we will see how to design this featured on section and also this features section right here. Now in this video, we'll just add one of these cards over here and we'll just design it using HTML and CSS. And in the next video, we will add these details over here using JavaScript. So let's get started. Alright, so here I'm in the source code of our design, and let's go outside the header and let's create a new division. And if you go back to the original design, here we can see that all this content is inside a specific width. And if you go back to our HTML file, here we can see that we have created this division with the class of container. And if you go to the style.css file and if you scroll up, here we can see that for the container we have set a max width, and we have set the margin inline to auto so that it is in the center. And that's why we can see that all the content inside the header has this width of 900 pixels and it is in the center. So we can make use of this container division right here. So let's go back to the HTML, and here let's go outside the header and let's create a division with the class of container. And now whatever we type over here will have a max width of 900 pixels. So if I just create some text, I'll just type testing. And now if you go to our design, now we can see that we have this max width of 900 pixels. It doesn't start from all the way to the left. Right, so let's go back, and first of all let's create a section. So let's create a section tag, and for each of the sections we will have some IDs. So for this one, let's add an ID of featured. So this section is for this featured section right here. Right, now let's go back, and in this section the first thing we need to have is a heading. So let's create an h2. And here let's start featured on. And now for all the content inside the section, let's create a division with the class of content. And in that, for all these logos, let's create a division with the class of logos. And in this we will have all these 4 logos. So let's create an img tag, and here in the src let's type images / and the first logo is for HubSpot. Then we have Pinterest, Reddit and Spotify. So let's add these logos over here. So I'll just type HubSpot logo.svg, and I'll just duplicate this 3 more times. And the second logo that we need to have is Pinterest, and the next one is Reddit, and then lastly we have Spotify. Right, now let's go back to our website, and this is how it looks. We have the heading and all these logos over here. Now let's style it using CSS. So let's go back to the style.css file, and here let's create a comment, and I'll just call it featured section. Now the first thing we will do is we will add a common styling for all the sections. So I'll just type section, and for all the sections we will have a padding of 50 pixels top and bottom and 32 pixels left and right. Right, now let's add a particular styling for all the headings inside the section. So let's type section h2, and we'll set the color of all these headings to 8300b6, and we'll set the text align of all of these to center, and we'll also remove all the margins, and we will just have a margin bottom. So let's add a margin bottom, and let's set it to 16 pixels. And this is how it looks. Right, now let's style this featured section. So for that we have this ID of featured. So here let's type #featured. And first of all let's set the background color of this section to white. And now let's add a box shadow. And let's set the values to 0, 5 pixels, 55 pixels, -15 pixels, RGBA 0, 0, 0 and 0.2. And let's also add rounded corners. So I'll just type border radius and let's set it to 10 pixels. And now for this featured section, we'll just decrease the padding a little bit. So if you go over here to the section, we can see that we have added a padding of 50 pixels for top and bottom. Now just for this feature section, I'll just reduce the padding a little bit. So I'll just have padding top, and I'll just set it to 30 pixels. And I think that looks alright. Now if you go back to the original design, here we can see that this featured on section is a little bit on top of this header section. So we need to add a negative margin top for that. So let's go over here and let's type margin top, and let's set it to negative 80 pixels. I think we can increase it a little bit more. So let's try 90 pixels, and I think that looks alright. Right, now let's style these logos. So for the logos, we have a division with a class of logos. So here I'll just type featured logos. We will set the display to flex, and we will add a gap of 60 pixels between all of these logos, and we'll just bring it to the center. So I'll just type justify content center, and that's basically it with the featured section. Right, now let's go ahead and start with this features section over here. So for that, let's go back and let's go to the HTML file, and let's go outside this section and let's create another section. And for this, we will give it an ID of features. Now even in this, we need to have a heading. So we need to have a heading of features. So let's create an h2 and let's type features. And then we need to have this card. So we'll create all of that inside a division with the class of content. Now in this content, we need to have each of these cards. So I just create a division with the class of feature card. Now in this card, the first thing we need to have is this icon. So let's create a division with the class of icon, and let's create an img tag, and for the src, let's type images / and I'll just add this icon called create task icon.svg. And here we can see we have the icon, and then we need to have the heading for this card. So for that, let's create an s3, and I'll just copy this heading from here, and I'll just paste it over here. And then we need to have a paragraph, and in that we'll just add this sentence. So just copy this and paste it over here. And that's basically it with the feature card. Now let's go ahead and copy this feature card, and I'll just paste it 2 more times so that we can style it better. So just copy this feature card from here, and I'll just paste it 2 more times. Right, now let's go to our CSS file and let's start styling this. So first of all, let's create a comment. I'll just type features. And first of all, let's go ahead and target the feature card division. So let's type features, feature card. And let's add a background color of linear gradient, and let's set it to 90 degrees. And for the first color, let's type EBFEFE, and let's set it to 0%. And then for the second color, let's type EAFEF3, and let's set it to 100%. And let's go back to our design, and this is how it looks. Let's also add border radius and also some padding. So let's type border radius, and let's set it to 20 pixels, and let's set a padding of 24 pixels. Right, now let's go ahead and target this heading, and I'll just set the font size to 18 pixels. So let's type features S3, and let's set the font size to 18 pixels. Right, now let's go ahead and target this icon. So for the icon, we have this division with the class of icon. So I'll just type features icon, and for the icon, let's set a height of 60 pixels and a width of 60 pixels. And we'll set a border radius of 10 pixels, and let's add a background color of linear gradient, and let's set it to 90 degrees. And for the first color, let's type FEE3E0, and let's set it to 0%. And for the next color, let's type FEE9E6, and let's set it to 100%. Now we also need to bring this icon to the center, so let's type display of grid and place items to the center. And the width is not set to 60 pixels, so let's go back and here we have this typo. We need to type px. Right now we have the correct height and width for the icons. Right now the last thing we need to do is we need to have 3 of these feature cards in a row. So for that, let's go back to the parent division, which is this division with the class of content, and that we have all these feature cards. So let's target this content division. So I just tap features, content, and let's set the display to grid, and we'll set the grid template columns to 1fr, 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 and we'll set a gap of 24 pixels between each of the elements. And this is how it looks. So that's basically it with the feature cards of our website. And that's it for this video. In the next video, I'll show you how to display different content over here using JavaScript. So we'll do that in the next video. We will store all these details inside a JavaScript file, and we just generate these HTMLs over here using JavaScript. Right, so that's basically it for this video. If you have any doubts, you can ask in the comments below. And if you like this video, please click on the like button and subscribe to this channel to get the latest video updates. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a nice day.